Okay.
And I said, probably the best piece of the whole year.
Great.
I went to the table, put a dog. Where is she from? Where is she from?
Mary Cantona.
No.
That's
She
a bit
gave
of
me
yeah.
Right, that's actually been changed. We're going to change it back. So, okay, page 2. Yeah?
Okay.
Yeah, I think there's no point having it kind of,
No, sure.
I mean, we are cropping pictures, we're looking at pictures even as we speak. Fantastic picture on offer at the minute, the picture that Amy's got of the...
There'll be more and more.
There'll be more and more of that. So a question of this line, a question of whether we open up, whether we move the mast up, but I mean, that's to be discussed.
I mean, I think given the news power of it, we're going with a picture of of Spencer, are we? With
No,
Not
Not
necessarily.
necessarily.
We have a picture of Charles. We've got one picture at the moment, which is, but there's going to be another 1,000 pictures in the
I
next
think
2 or 3
there's
hours.
no
So
point
it's
debating
no-
that until we
yeah.
see what the options are in the
We've got
kind of
four, so
event.
it's, but you can go and see what Amos got up there. It's a very popular
I just
picture.
think we should go for a stronger news line this time, as it was kind of harder than we expected.
Yeah,
in a way.
yeah, that's it. We all agree capturing what the news line is the issue.
Yeah.
Okay, now page 2.
Well, we're going to have to talk. We're going to have to write this through. Clearly, there's a lot
John,
of.
John is refiling. Will refile by is good and powerful. So it's a question of fettling with the top. Essentially, it'll be fettling with the top, the description of the service, and then deciding what to do and when from from Althrop. We've got Althrop stuff. And we need to sort of work. There's also a bit of procession stuff to go in. There's some stuff from the mosque at Regent's Park, which is quite nice. There'll be some stuff as it goes up the motorway.
It's not a movie, it's an electrifying bomb, isn't it? I mean, I think it's electrifying.
Yeah, we can
But I mean,
probably
all
tackle all of this
all
stuff.
this stuff. I must say, one structural thing about this piece, I would like to see one of the, after we've done Spencer, which is the fundamental point, I think actually starting off at 9:04, the stronger, the next strongest element in the entire thing is the Nick Cohen bit, where, and the wheelchairs and all that.
I agree with that. So I think that's
So
very
I don't
good.
know whether
But
we can play around with the structure to kind
well,
of
I
go-
think there's a logic about having
Yeah,
it moving.
I know.
But I think also the structure is going to be affected by what happens in Althrop, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's what it is.
We
Yeah.
kind of
And
need
there's
to
also
take-
going to be. There's
We can
also,
move Nick's stuff up, I suppose.
yeah,
but I
you
think
can.
it,
Now, what about
When I left, so I think this is a sort of
Ready? I'm ready. Earl Spencer's speech, probably the most moving part of it, but a very strong condemnation on the media. I'm just wondering if you feel it's going to make the media's job any more difficult and whether it was justified.
It was an electrifying speech, and it wasn't only the media that Earl Spencer condemned, it was also fairly explicitly the royal family and the way their family structure, the way they approached the bringing up of William and Harry, Princes William and Harry, had fundamentally upset Princess Diana and actually led to the divorce and implicitly the whole tragedy. So this was one of the most formidable speeches I think ever made at a funeral. It ranks, I think in political terms, it will, and it does have political implications, it will rank with Geoffrey Howe's resignation speech, which led to Mrs. Thatcher's ultimate demise, and Norman Lamont's attack on John Major after he was sacked. This was a very, leave aside actually the emotional angle on this. This had very important political ramifications.
For our international audience. What do you think do you think that anything will come of it actually? I mean, do you think there will?
Yes, I think that it is now almost impossible. It's been becoming impossible. It's a gradual process, but I think it's now almost impossible for Charles to consider marriage to Camilla Parker Bowles. He's an intensely personal and complex man, in many ways as private and complex as Princess Di. And my own view is that he's set on marriage to Camilla Parker Bowles, and he's now making up his mind whether he wants to consecrate his life to monarchy, in which case that means bachelordom and personal unhappiness, or whether he wants to renounce his claim to the throne, allowing it to pass straight through to his son, which would permit him to marry the woman he loves. The constitutional implications of that are profound. The Prime Minister of the country will have to decide whether they want this young man, 15 years old, and these events may happen in 2 or 3 years' time, who can tell, they may even happen in months, given the pace of events, to actually take on that role. I mean, be absolutely clear. Earl Spencer today, acted in the kind of Republican tradition of the British aristocracy. They're the direct lineage from the kind of aristocrats who fought with Cromwell in the Civil War. This is actually powerful and extraordinary stuff, and he knew exactly what he was doing.
About focusing on the paparazzi or the attack on the tabloid media, which he did blame and so attribute in some ways to Diana's death. Is it a justified attack, and can his dream, his wish, be actually fulfilled?
I think that there are a number of propositions which are incontestable. Proposition 1, Princess Di, was fundamentally unhappy, driven to the point of despair, and indeed of leaving the country because of unwarranted and unreasonable press attention on it. It's an uncontestable assertion. Secondly, however you tell the story of last Saturday night when she died, the speed of the car and the attempt by the inmates to escape the attention of the paparazzi are plainly part of the story. Whether it's the driver being drunk or whether it was the paparazzi overdoing it, we'll never actually, I suspect, get that balance right. But there's no doubt that the paparazzi are part of that story. Indirectly, it's clear they have a role. And it's also clear, Proposition 3, that the British tabloids in particular are the kind of flagship in the flotilla of world media who paid top dollars for these pictures. And the Observer, the paper I edit, has never bought paparazzi pictures, never under my editorship. I simply wouldn't countenance it. But there's part of the British market where this does take place. I think that the line by British editors, particularly of the tabloids, that actually, requiring more restraint, accepting that trading in such pictures should be restrained, trying to resist that pressure, which they've been doing, is now an impossible position. It's an impossible position. And I think we the publishing and print media, and actually to a degree the broadcast media, really have to accept, that public opinion is actually becoming very hostile to this. My own position is that there should be a grand bargain. Yes, the press should accept restraint, maybe even legal restraint, accompanying some codification of regulations on privacy. And in return, British libel laws should be relaxed, and there should be a Freedom of Information Act. It should be part of a grand bargain. The press should, yes, get something, even whilst it accepts some self-restraint. And speaking as an editor of a broadsheet, I'm really in no mood to hear the arguments that privacy laws are unflammable, they always get evaded, nothing can be done. I simply think that's an impossible position, and journalism and British newspapers are being brought into disrepute by this refusal to accept where public opinion is moving, and actually the possibility is open to us to kind of frame some reasonable new framework for vigorous journalism to take place in Britain.
Thank you very much indeed. A
Okay.
comprehensive answer.